we're gonna go ahead and get started on our mat. The other thing that I'd love for you to have, if you can, is a rolled up towel or blanket. It's not necessary. It just might give you a little bit more comfort in a seated position. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started there. All right. So I hope everybody can hear me. Like I said, we can use the rolled up blanket. We can come seated on our knees. If that's not comfortable for you, you can of course sit down on your booty and have a blanket underneath you. But we're gonna I'm just a little bit more comfortable right now in a seated position up on my knees. And for the breath that we're gonna be doing, today's practice is gonna be incorporating a lot of pranayama. So pranayama is just simply our breath work. It's something that we do every day, all day, without any thought. And our goal is to bring a little bit of thought into it. And hopefully we build some sort of somatic patterning so that we stop holding our breath and we start using it to move. So we did this breath, I believe, a couple weeks ago with me, the Kapalbhati breathing. We'll have a sit first and just have some quietness. But when we move into that, any position that feels good for you when we do that breath work, whether it's on the knees, which I'm going to prefer today, seated, or even standing in a little bit of a kind of a wide-legged chair pose with the hands on the knees or thighs is really comfortable too. So let's go ahead and pause. Go ahead and let's press the palms face down for a moment. And sit up nice and tall, create space between the chin and the collarbone. Allow the shoulders to get soft and the elbows to drip down towards the hips and the heels. And so we're just taking a moment of quiet and stillness to begin to settle into our practice this morning. At the studio, we joke around that this is our church. It's Sunday morning. We're all in church together. So if you haven't been able to get to your own devotion that you're used to, take a moment for a little prayer. Those of you that have a mantra, invite it in. And just feel it move with the breath in and out of the body. So you'll start to notice that as soon as you observe the breath, it starts to shift and change all on its own without any work going into it. So our breath is a pretty magical thing. There all the time, ever present, but constantly able to shift and move when we need it to. Go ahead and take about 5 more breaths before we move into the bigger pranayama today. The palms down on the thighs or the knees is just inviting us to search inward just a little bit more. Releasing any anxiety of the quarantine. When you reach the bottom of that 5th breath, go ahead and turn the palms up and let them rest either on the thighs or off to your sides, and open the eyes and just go ahead and do a few little circles with the chin down and to the shoulder, to the right and to the left, just a couple of times. Just create the space. Feel the shoulders pull back and away from the collarbones. Feel the neck grow a little longer. One more time. And we'll bring it back to center slowly. So that Kapalbhati breathing that we've been working on is that really quick contracted exhale that we focus on. And what we're trying to do is our goal, it's not a conscious goal, but what happens is we draw the belly button up and into the rib cage and we hollow the belly quite a bit. And so I'll turn to the side here. So over exaggerated, we might feel this sensation. And so there's a little bit of movement. It's not really, we're not activating the muscles to move the back, but that popping sensation is drawing the belly button up and in. So we're gonna start with 5 breaths. When we get to the 5th breath, or the 25th breath, as you exhale everything out, you're gonna take a big deep breath in, exhale everything out. See if you can pull that belly in And hold for a count of 5 or 10, and I'll go ahead and do that with you as well. So let's go ahead and take a full round of breath in and out together. You can always take your hand to the belly if you want to pay attention to that sensation. Good. On the next breath, we'll draw in and then exhale 25. Big breath in, deep exhale. You can bring the chin in for a chin lock and engage that pelvic floor for a root lock. Expelling all the air. Pausing with that lack of prana. And when you're ready, a deep breath in. So we're going to do the same thing again, only we're going to pause with the prana in on that big breath after the exhale. After that's 25 exhales. So full round of breath in through the nose, out through the mouth if you'd like. Gather another big breath, and we'll start to breathe. Big breath in and hold. Get that same lock if you want to. Lift the pelvic floor, drop the chin in. Gather it all. Feel that prana building heat. This is that breath of fire. And when you're ready, if you'd like, begin to exhale the breath slowly. So that's going to get us started today in our practice. If you're just jumping on and you're just joining us, I was mentioning that I woke up not feeling 100% today, and so I'm trying to honor my body, but I still want to honor a practice with you today. So if this is your first time moving today, hopefully it'll be a gentle enough practice. It's a very simple, short flow to take us to a peak. We're going to be working on something that most of us have done in our practice before, in our asana practice before. But really the goal is to have the playfulness, to find the playfulness, because I know that when I'm not feeling my best, it's hard to find that playfulness. I take everything so seriously, and there's a little bit of judgment that comes up of I'm taking care of myself, I'm doing all this stuff during quarantine, why do I feel this way? And so I'm trying to also honor the fact that we're in this really weird point in history where we don't always know how our body and our minds are going to respond to this lack of human interaction, our daily routine being thrown off for many of us. And so today I want you to take the time to pause if you feel yourself getting too serious, if you feel yourself getting too emotional. Enjoy what emotions come up, but hopefully we're going to start to bring in that joy a little bit. So creating that imperfect practice, I also want you to recognize that you have the ability to mess up, to take child's pose, to just decide to do Shavasana and hear my voice today, whatever it is. And we're just going to go ahead and get started by first coming to our seat. So if you have that blanket, you can move it out of your way, come all the way down to the ground. Those of you who practice with me in person have probably done this one before. It's a good way for us to get out of our brains right away. And so we want to find that playfulness. And so when we were talking about Leela earlier, this whole idea of playfulness that she has between karma and what she represents. And the other thing that she really represents is the idea of chaos, right? So I feel like we're thrown into this time of chaos, and it felt really fitting. So the chaos of the unknown, of what's coming, but there's this soma of us knowing that the sun will rise tomorrow, the sun will set today, we'll all get to howl at 8 o'clock this evening, and life will go on, life continues, and it's just a matter of how we are affected by it. So let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to take opposite hand to opposite foot. So go ahead and come into Baddha Konasana with the feet, and then take your right hand to the left foot, to the top of the foot from the outside, and then cross the left arm over. And I'm actually going to turn to the side so I don't roll over into my screen here. But we're going to go ahead and just play, and I want you to just see, without letting your hands go, how you can start to move your body, where it's stiff, where it's held, where the legs and the arms can actually go. Maybe there's a limited range of motion right now. Maybe you are feeling pretty excited about this, but play with it. See what kind of shapes you can start to make and create and build, and where the body kind of rolls around. You're going to get a nice little massage too if you decide to move to the floor. And just move the legs in and out a few times. Try not to switch hands quite yet. We'll go ahead and do that in just a minute. But I always like to think about how I can move in a new way. How can I find playfulness in my practice when I'm feeling kind of a little imperfect in my ability to progress or to watch my practice, my physical practice, grow? And is there a shape I can make that I haven't made yet before? And that's always the kicker, right? Let's go ahead and come back up to seated. We're going to uncross the arms and just take the right arm over top this time. So you're just switching it out. And I'll go ahead and move off my mat a little bit and I'll come towards you. But have some fun with it. Don't be afraid to play. I think we've forgotten how to do that sometimes. So roll to each side. See what it feels like to extend-ish the legs. Feel what it's like to engage the shoulders back and call everything in. If you can hear a loud dog, that's my dog being a total asshole outside. Notice what direction, if you've changed direction on your mat, maybe you're facing the back of your mat now. We're going to be moving towards the back of our mat a little later in our practice, so it's okay to get acquainted with it now. So hopefully you feel things starting to open up and muscles kind of letting go of the bone a little bit. And we'll come back to that seated position when you're ready. Go ahead and release the arms. Inhale, stretch up high. As you exhale, go ahead and roll over onto all fours. If you've got those blocks, go ahead and grab those now. And we're going to go ahead and settle in. I'm going to stack the blocks side to side here. And then go ahead and open the knees wide, uncurl the toes, let the feet be really flat, press the hips back towards the heels. You can bring the blocks in as close as you need to. And we're going to place the elbows up on the blocks and start to release the shoulders a little bit in a variation of child's pose. So as you exhale, go ahead and melt the heart towards the earth. Settle the hips back to the heels. You can take the thumbs and press them to the back side of the heart. Open up those triceps and the underarms. And notice that there's this really great bowl for the belly to rise and fall between the thighs. So take full advantage to express the full width, breadth, and depth of the belly. To inhale, engage the lungs open, drawing all the breath down into the diaphragm to the pelvic floor. Visualize it coming in and gently freeing itself out. With each exhale, maybe you feel a little buoyancy. You can feel a little bit of a bounce. Each movement starts to open things up a little bit. And don't be afraid of the stillness here. As power yogis, a lot of times we want to move all the time. And I'm just trying to listen to my body. If your body is telling you you want to move, take a momentary pause and ask yourself why that is. Is this part of the playfulness? Or is there a deeper need, like a deeper kind of itch that needs to be scratched? What is it? On the next breath, you can go ahead and slowly come up back to all fours. You can get those blocks out of your way. Go ahead and keep them towards the top of your mat today. If you need them later, we can always move them to the back. Moving through an Ardha Mandala today, so that means that we're not going to be spinning all the way around in a circle. We're going to be taking some half circles today-ish. It'll make sense a little later. But from here, we're going to go ahead and curl those toes under. Walk the hands slightly forward. And I want you to go ahead and start to press the chest back, hips to heels, and then lift the knees, stretch the calf muscles out. So pushing against the hands, lengthening the tailbone back, slowly begin to lift and lengthen the spine towards the sky. Keep the knees bent here. The belly presses deeply into the thighs. And take a couple of deep breaths to settle into a new variation of your downward facing dog. If you want to fidget a little bit in it, it's totally okay. Allow the mind to kind of settle back. And then gaze forward slightly to the hands, and then let your eye line fall just below where the eyes are on the mat rather than looking back at the toes. See if you can express a little bit of a middle back bend here as you press into the palms, and then lengthen the heels towards the floor without straightening the knees. See if you can lift the tailbone up a little higher and spread the sit bones a little wider. From here, inhale, ripple the body forward like you're a wave crashing up into shore. Find some playfulness as you move. Bring the eyes forward, lift the chest, and lift up through the heels as you exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Last thing to move back are the eyes. Round forward, high plank, nice and slow. Exhale, push it back. So you're going to do this a few more times, moving forward and back a few times, and just feeling that call from the front to the back of the mat, feeling the ripple, the wave of each vertebrae as it's called forward. Go ahead and come forward and back 2 more times. Find that bend knee down dog, pressing back, and then gather and use the whole inhale to get to the top of the mat. Pausing for that space between the breaths, just like we held that prana or we released that prana in our pranayama this morning. And then press it back to down dog. That's where we're going to meet. And then from here, inhale, round the spine forward again 1 more time. Step the feet a little bit wider than hip distance. Drop the heels over to the right. Flex the feet. You're on the knife edge. Now notice how the hips lift and you get lighter in this left hand. Go ahead and push down into that left hand. Gaze over the right shoulder. Push a little deeper into that left hand. Keep the feet flexed. Engage the quads. Inhale back to center. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last thing to leave are the eyes. Moving just underneath the head. And then inhale, round forward, high plank again. Legs are still wide. Drop the heels over to the left. Push down into that right palm. Good. Notice that engagement in the left arm. Push deeper into the right. Lean your weight into that right hand as you flex the feet a little bit more. Engage the quads. Look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Lower the knees to the earth. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Lift the heart. Press the heart forward and slowly lower down. Elbows reach towards the hips as you come down. Go ahead and uncurl the toes. Make sure you've got enough room with your blocks out of the way to walk the hands all the way off the mat. Tense the fingers. Let the legs still go wide here. So you've created kind of a V with the legs. Push the forehead into the floor and expand the shoulder blades, that space between the shoulder blades. See if you can expand it by squeezing the elbows toward the outer edges of your room. Let the pubic bone grow really heavy. And then as you inhale, feel the back side of the heart grow stronger. Push into the fingertips and then let the head lift. And we're not trying to throw the head back, trying to create length as you draw the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. Exhale, lower. Pull those heartstrings back to the mat. 2 more times. Inhale, coil up. Pull in the low belly and ribs. Exhale, release. 1 more time. You guys know I like sets of 3 or 108, and we just don't have that kind of time. Exhale, lower down softly. Good. So with control, we're going to bring the hands back underneath you in that push-up position. Curl those toes under and just pay attention to your plank right here. So as we lift the chest away from the floor slightly, the rib cage is fully on the mat. Toes are tightly curled. Thighs are engaged. Pull the elbows back towards the hips and create space from the neck, shoulders, and ears. And that broadens the collarbone as well. So invite that mini back bend back behind you. Walk the toes as far forward as you can, as if you're trying to tickle the roof of your mouth a little bit. And then feel the pelvic bowl grow really heavy and deep into the floor as you flex the thighs a little bit more. So this might be your really strong plank pose for right now. This is where you can go at any time in our practice. But it's really fully engaged. My hands can leave the floor if they need to. My legs are really strong and sturdy. When I am ready to lift up and away, you can push the knees back down while still pulling the belly button in. Belly comes in, pubic bone still stays heavy. Inhale, rise to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Pedal out those feet. See how you're feeling now. Maybe you're getting a little warmer. Inhale, roll forward to that high plank position again. Exhale, drop the heels over to the right. Keep the feet staggered. This time, reach up to the sky. Exhale, release that hand down. Switch your feet to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Notice that we want the feet to be fully engaged here. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lengthen, press the heels back, crown of the head forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. From here, big toes come together to touch. Keep a bend in the knees. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Exhale, runner's lunge forward and through. Step that foot right next to the wrist and the fingers on that right foot. From here, we're going to measure out that space. We're going to walk the hands forward to the outer edges, the corners of the mat. And imagine you're trying to pull the hands or pulling back to you. From here, that armpit on the right kind of hooks neatly over the kneecap. Press the chest forward, lengthen through the spine, and breathe here. We're going to slowly begin to lower that knee, and then walk the hands back, still cupping the armpit with the knee with the armpit until the knee lets go. Good. Pull the heart forward. Notice if there's rounding, you can come up on blocks at this point if you want. And then slowly begin to walk forward. Make sure that that armpit hugs the knee again. Good. A couple of deep breaths. In and out. Hands are still really far forward. Not our traditional lunge here. From here, put weight into that front leg and gently launch that back foot up and away from the floor. So we're in a variation of Warrior 3. And it's not about getting the leg high, it's about getting it off the ground. Get a little buoyancy in that knee beneath you. And then on your next exhale, slowly begin to soften that front knee. Keep the hands where they were and begin to almost touch the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Find strength and sturdiness. Hips are facing the mat. Exhale, release down, 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 and lift. Press it up. Exhale, down, down, down. Stay with me, down, and lunge. Good. From here, walk the hands back into that traditional lunge. Lower the knee to the earth. Inhale, rise up. Good. From here, clasp the hands back behind you, elbows forward, and slowly lift the chest as the elbows come wide. Pull the heart toward the top of the wall out in front of you. Good. Feel that hip flexor open up on the left. Feel it engage on the right. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, come back into that Ardha Hanumanasana again one more time. Now find balance here in the posture by walking the hands either to that ankle, thigh, shin, whatever feels good, and see if you can breathe. Now notice it's really easy to shift all the way into that right, into that left hip. And so instead you're going to pull the right hip crease back, lengthen up through the crown of the head, squeeze the shoulder blades to lift the heart. And you're going to create leverage by pulling. If you've got a strap nearby, you can always throw it around that foot. But we're going to try and keep everything facing forward. Good. Slowly inhale, walk it forward, and then come back into that downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Pause. Exhale, press it back. Inhale, high plank. Ripple forward. Exhale, down dog. Lot of repetition today. Inhale, bring it forward. From here, exhale, lower, grip the earth as you come down. Walk the hands off your mat. If you like the traditional cobra, you can stay there. Or inhale, rise up, that big hooded cobra, lift through the heart, shoulders back. So create a little buoyancy here in the body. Feel it ripple back. Feel the vertebrae and lower down. Hands underneath you. Curl the toes. Belly in, pubic bone down. Engage the upper back and chest away from the earth. Inhale, rise to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, let's move to the left side. Inhale, left leg high. Good, and then set it forward and through between the hands next to that right palm, or left palm, sorry. Squeeze that hip crease back. Walk the hands forward so you're making a V, and then cup that elbow, or I'm sorry, that armpit over the kneecap. Apparently I don't know anatomy today. Good, breathe. Now notice that the knee opened up here. We want to keep it facing forward, so we're really cupping it with that armpit. Nice and strong. Deep breaths in and out. Good, now put a little bit of buoyancy, a little bit of weight into that front foot, and we're going to slowly launch it up and away. Breathe. Lift through the heart. And begin to slowly, as if you're about to set it down, get some momentum, but stay lifted in that balanced leg. Exhale, take the right foot towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, begin to bend the left knee. And lengthen. One more time, but stay with me. Exhale, down, down, chest forward, down, down, and lower. Good, stay in that position with the V arms, pause, and then slowly drop that back knee and wander your way back to Ardha Hanumanasana. Good, walk it forward. You've got this a couple times, and walk it back. We're gonna balance, but not quite yet, so come all the way forward. And find that crescent lunge slowly. Inhale, rise up. This time, bring the palms together, steeple the fingers, and lift up through the chest. Bring the elbows forward and take the hands back behind you and see if you can point the thumbs into the back of the neck or the shoulder blades. Lift up through the chest. Open the shoulders. Elbows high. Breathe. Good. One more breath right here. And then slowly inhale, arms up high again. Exhale, hands come down. This time walk it back to that half split again. And from here, notice how easy it is to fall into that right hip. Squeeze it back. Put some weight into that outer edge of the leg. Flex the foot. And come in to find balance. Breathe. In through the nose. Notice if the spine is rounding here. If it is, walk yourself up a little higher on the knee. Maybe not pressure on the knee, but near the knee. Breathe. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Notice as the hips start to sway over to the right. Call them back. Good. And then from here, wander your way back to that runner's lunge. Notice that elbow is forward, the armpit is over the knee. We lift up that back leg, hands come back to that normal position, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank. Good. Now from here, we're gonna go ahead and take the weight into the right hand, drop the heels to the right, and slowly extend the left fingers high. Pause right here. And then slowly set that hand down, come back to center. Other side, stack the feet. You can keep them staggered if you'd like. And release down. Move into downward facing dog. You can go through that high plank to either hooded cobra or traditional cobra on your own. And we'll meet in downward facing dog in just a moment. All right. Whew. How's everybody doing? Are we all feeling pretty perfect in our imperfections today? I know I'm really owning it today. So let's come back to downward facing dog if you're not already there. Big toes come together to touch. And lift that right leg back behind you. From here, slowly take that runner's lunge, okay? And from that runner's lunge, reach the heart forward. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then release the weight into the left hand. Take a twist into your lunge. Notice how easy it is for the shoulder to come forward into the collarbone. So press the left shoulder back. Lift up through the right fingers. Good. And then start to slowly reach the fingers back behind you. See if you can gaze with your eyes all the way back. Notice your left hip starts to drop a little bit. Bring it all the way back up. Come it through center. 2 more times. Good. Also, that right knee is going to want to move open, so keep it pressing forward through the big toe mound. Good. So from here, back into that twist, go ahead and walk your way over to Skandasana. Bend the left knee. Now sink low. Take that left hand next to the foot and take the other arm forward. Gaze to the top of your mat. From here, that hand meets in front of the foot on the right. Gaze to the back of the mat. Pause. And then from here, walk it all the way around to the back of the mat. You're in a left leg lunge now. So pause in that left leg lunge. Find the length. Squeeze the hip crease back. And we'll do the same thing that we just did. So put the weight into that palm or into the fingertips on that right side. Left fingers high. Good. Take a moment to pay attention to the foundation underneath you. So there's some buoyancy. We're not really held firmly. We've got this little bit of fluidity in the practice here. So the shoulder can buoyantly come back. Fingers up high. And we start to slowly watch the hand on the left move back towards the foot behind us. Rotate all the way up and around. The right hip is going to drop slightly, but the knee is going to stay exactly where it is on the front. Good. One more time, up and around. And then we call it back over here. This time, left hand in front of right foot. Extend. Move it across the mat. Right hand in front of left foot. Extend. And now slingshot it all the way around to the top of the mat, forward fold. I'm going to go ahead and face you guys. So from our forward fold, big toes together to touch, a little separation between the heels. Bend the knees as much as you need to here. Let the head hang heavy. You can grasp each elbow and just kind of hang here. Feel the weight of the upper body. Take some deep breaths, release the hands. And then as you inhale, trickle up 1 vertebrae at a time with these bent knees. Roll the shoulders down and back. I'm going to fix my pants asana. All right, so from here, inhale, stretch up high. We're going to grab hold of that right wrist and slowly extend over to the left side. Now notice how that shoulder wants to curl forward. Keep the shoulder out of the collarbone by reaching it behind the ear. So actively stretch and work here. Eyes come up to the sky if that's comfortable for the neck. If not, you can continue to look forward. Put your weight into that left foot and slowly come to balance on that left foot. Flex, and we're lifting through the heel. So it's not a pointed toe here. The heel is doing the lifting, so that inner thigh stays rotated. Breathe. If you lose your balance, just find it. It's kind of like losing the marbles. It takes some time to get them back, right? Inhale back through center. Grab hold of the left wrist and start to arc over to the right. Now we're not just collapsing into the right side, so it's not about that deep side bend here. We're creating the length. So I'd rather see this, more of an upright position, than really crunching in here because all I'm doing is pushing into my side ribs. I'm not creating space. So that's why this hand is here to pull. Once you're there, we're going to flex that left foot, balance on the right, and slowly lift the foot away. Pay attention if the toes are leading. Pivot that inner thigh in, lift through the heel. Push to the outer edge of your heel. Breathe. Balance is usually not my forte. Inhale back through center. Exhale, forward fold. Open the chest as you go. Good. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to step back with the right foot and then the left into downward facing dog. Moving through that connecting vinyasa if you want it. It's inhale, roll forward to high plank. Exhale, lower down. Uncurl the toes. Any variation of that cobra, whether the arms are next to you or it's a hooded cobra, as long as the legs are heavy, you can go on the fingertips or the palms. From here, use the knees if you're feeling tired. Inhale, rise to plank. Exhale, down dog. So we're going to move through that same familiarity, very simple flow, but it's going to shift, it's going to change, okay? Knees bent, big toes together to touch. Right leg high, inhale. Exhale, runner's lunge forward and through. So this is where that playfulness can start to come in. It can bubble in. So find that buoyancy, find that lift a little bit. Take a couple of deep breaths. We're going to plant that left hand down. And this time I'm going to come onto the knife edge. So pay attention to my feet. My toes turn to the right. Okay? And I slowly lower my hip to the floor and extend the fingers to the back of the mat. So I'm watching my hand as it moves. If that's not comfortable, you can be up a little higher. That's fine. Breathe. If you have any tension in the knee, move your foot further back on the mat. From here, we draw a rainbow up and over all the way around. And we land in warrior two, back of the mat. Good. Take a deep breath in and out. And slowly begin to extend into extended side angle to the back of the mat. Draw an upside down rainbow all the way around. Warrior two, top of the mat. Breathe. Inhale, straighten the legs, stretch to the sky. Pull everything to the center. And then we'll go ahead and slowly float down, downward facing dog. Real simple, right? Left leg high, inhale. Bring it forward and through. Put the weight into the right palm. Knife edge of the toes go to the left. And we're going to slowly reach the arm up and over as if we were trying to grab the big toe. Good. So notice if your foot stickles like this, we want to keep that foot really active and it opens with the knee. Okay? Lift the chest and draw that rainbow up. Warrior two on the right leg. Back of the mat. Good, so take some time to feel your warrior. I haven't given you any cueing to get into it, so just make sure that the shoulders stay over the hips, back leg is firm, body's facing the long end of the mat, and extend into that side angle. Create the space underneath us, and then draw that upside down rainbow down, down, pivot on the feet, toes face forward on the left now, warrior two. Good. Pay attention to that arm back behind you. Inhale up. And exhale, downward dog. Push it back. Move through your flow or take a child's pose, whatever feels good to you. Those of you that joined in a little late, was feeling a little under the weather today, so we're just doing a very simple Ardha Mandala, getting us around the mat, allowing the body to shift and move. Have some fun, find the imperfections in our practice and play there. All right. So from here, we'll meet in downward facing dog. And we're going to take a little walk. With bent knees, heart melted towards the earth with really strong fingers into the mat. Take your left foot, cross it in front of the right, and take a little curtsy, knees wide. Walk the right foot in front of the left, cross it over. Keep the bend in the knees, curtsy wide, forehead toward the earth. And you're going to just continue to do that. You come up onto the fingertips as you get closer to the top of the mat. You can gather your blocks underneath you to lift you up a little bit. There's no gold stars for getting to the top first, so take your time. We play. Leela is playing in karma here. back and forth, until we find that forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, hands to shins or fingertips to floor, lengthen. And then exhale, hinge. Excuse me. Inhale, lengthen, create space. And then hinge. Now, bend in the knee, find that buoyancy, and slowly rise up, Vashistasana chair pose. So the feet can be big toes touching, hip distance apart, whatever feels good to you. But start to put a little bit of weight into that right foot. And then slowly lift the left knee, cross that ankle over, sit down into your figure four chair. Breathe. Good. Notice where the mind goes. If the shoulders are getting heavy and the hands come forward, airplane the arms back behind you, any variation, or cactus the arms. If you tip out of the posture, don't be afraid to come back into it. Take your time to set it up. Sink low, get that hip open. Now from here, begin to inhale, stand up. We're gonna pick up this foot. So left foot into right hand. Good, we're gonna just cradle it for a moment. Keep the foot flexed. Good. And then slowly release that foot to the floor. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Get that buoyancy, gather it from the earth again. Belly to thighs, bend through the knees. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, release. Halfway rise. Release. One more time, halfway rise. This time find Vashistasana chair pose. Any variation with the feet within hip distance. Breathe. Find the playfulness, the subtleness of all that energy coming up from the legs. This time we balance on the left foot, pick up the right. Good, stay bent in that knee, cross it over. Good. Now notice where the arms want to go. If they start to fall forward, rather than muscling through it and fighting it, see if you can find a more comfortable place. Get into that quad. I know it's talking to you. Foot stays flexed. It doesn't need to move. You can roll the ankle around if it feels good, but support the knee by keeping it flexed if you're having trouble. Now this hip is going to want to scoot forward, so our goal is to continue to pull and lengthen it back. Grab hold of that foot, slowly come up. There's still a little bend in my foundation leg. Play here. Breathe. When you're ready to set it down, inhale, arms high. Exhale, take a forward fold. Heel to those feet a little wider than hip distance. And just go ahead and roll out those ankles a little bit. Come into that dexterity. Heel toe the feet together. Inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet and the toes. Bend the knees and come into a seated position into your toe stand. Good. Hang on right here, hands to heart center. See if you can squeeze the heels towards one another. They might not touch. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Excellent job. From here, hands come to the floor, forward fold as you exhale. From here, inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, bend the knees, get that buoyancy from the earth. Step the left foot back and then the right. Downward dog. Move through flow if you'd like to. Inhaling, roll forward to high plank. Exhale, slowly and softly lower to the earth. Inhale, gather your way up, ripple away from the earth. Exhale, lower. Curl the toes, find strength and sturdiness in your plank. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down dog. Bend the knees. Good. So at this point, you may want a block at the back of your mat. It's not necessary, but you might want it. So the idea is to keep the body open. We're going to be moving into a side plank fun variation today. So from here, it's very simple. We're just going to move right into our posture. So right leg is going to go to the sky. You're more than welcome to watch me. We'll do it a couple times. Bring it forward and through. Okay. Lift through the heart. Go ahead and plant the weight into that left hand. Find the knife edge of the feet and start to pull this foot back. So now it's about halfway on the mat. We're gonna lower down just like we did before, and this time push into this bent knee. So we're gonna push into that right foot and then slowly lift up. So we can come here or begin to lift that foot up and away from the floor. Okay, so if that's just not happening, place your foot on that block and it gives you the same sensation of that lift. So we'll do it again on that same side. Okay, maybe I'll switch around so you guys can see me. All right, so that right leg comes forward into your lunge. Good. We fall into that side body, nice and controlled, and then heel toe that foot over. So we want the knee and the ankle in a line. If you notice a lot of pressure in this elbow, don't be afraid to walk the hand a little further forward. Keep that foot flexed. So gather the prana from the earth. Inhale, lift it up. Good. This other hand can be reaching forward or up and overhead. Really put the weight into that right foot and slowly lift. Good. Squeeze the inner thigh. And then set yourself down, downward facing dog. We'll do it twice on the other side as well. So left leg high, runner's lunge. Move like you're going into your twist with nice edge of the feet, take the hip to the floor. Heel toe that foot over, gather the prana, and pick it up. From here, find that joy, that playfulness, that buoyancy to lift that foot up and away from the floor. Now remember, if you don't have it, grab your block, and we'll move and do it again one more time just to get that flexibility in the hip, that motion. All right, so left leg high, runner's lunge. Good. Now from here, weight into the right, pivot it around. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. So nice edge of the back foot, front foot is flat, knee over ankle. So we gather our energy. We're like a little magician here, sorcerer. Inhale, rise up, lift the foot if you want. Notice how the foot can move. We want it flexed. Bring it down, down dog. Another variation to get into the posture, I'll go ahead and show you. I'll flip around again so it's a little bit more obvious, is to just simply roll forward to that high plank position. Rotate into your side plank. Step the top foot, that right foot over. And then I'm right here. So that's an easier way to get into the posture for some. So play with it on the other side. Inhale, high plank. Heels to the right. Step that left foot forward and reach. So, lots to do. We'll meet in that downward facing dog. We're going to move through this variation one more time. Okay. That right leg lifts to the sky. Settle it at the top of the mat. Okay, we know this. Find the knife edge, heel toe this foot back. Okay, so normally we would have grabbed the prana, picked it up, right? This time, we're gonna kind of come forward, inchworm our way around, and if you can, you're gonna grab hold of that big toe here and breathe. So I think I told you I had grand plans today for our practice, and I took them back, I scaled them back a little bit, because I just haven't been feeling 100% since I got up. But this gets us into a variation of an arm balance. If you're feeling it, this foot can come up onto the back of the arm, and you've got yourself a perfect little arm balance. Breathe right here. Pull the chest forward rather than rounding the spine. Don't even be afraid to come down to that forearm, or if your block's nearby, you can gather your weight into your block. It's a good release into the hips. Nice little regression after that work. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really sweaty. Hopefully I'm sweating whatever crud I was feeling out. And to get out of the pose, just simply lift through the chest as you inhale and find your downward facing dog again. Again, I'm gonna switch it around to the other side. Then I'll do that left side with you. Left leg high, bring it forward. Good, take that twist, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. You've got a really good like 1988 beach pose in Sports Illustrated right here. Good, so you're gonna kind of start to move our body forward. Now notice as the knee opens, my foot follows it. okay? So it's okay if the knee moves, as long as we don't sickle that foot and lose that integrity, because that's where our foundation is. So you can always heel toe that foot further away. We're gonna bring that armpit, remember we used it earlier, we're gonna wrap it around in front of the knee rather than on the kneecap, right? And then I can find balance wherever I want with this other hand and help my body go forward. So if you're really working into the arm balance, excuse me, a nice wide military push-up arm is great for this outside arm on the right. Breathe with me right here. In through the nose, out through the nose. Those of you with more flexibility, if it's more comfortable to even come down onto the block, if you're preparing for that arm balance, if that's something you want to look for, or you can take it to the mat. Just start to find where you can play in the pose. Maybe playing is just hanging out right here, because this becomes pretty intense. So take time, take care, see where you're at in your practice. When you're ready to come up, let go of the toe, walk your way back and around to downward facing dog. Pedal out those feet. Inhale, roll forward for our last little plank. Lower the knees, lower the body to the earth. If you want that little back bend, now's your chance, a nice little Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Exhale, lower, melt back to the mat. From here, inhale, lift the heart just enough to send your right arm forward. Curl onto that right side, let that masculine side of the body, that powerful side of the body hold you. Bend that left knee over top. Close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. Settle back into the stillness and suppleness. Try to let go of any of those imperfections in your practice today. And just be perfectly imperfect. From this position, we're going to just slowly lift the chest or the head away from that lower arm. Kind of work that shoulder on the right underneath you, and then reach the fingers palm up on that right side, forward, lean back into the left. Your knee is going to come up and away from the ground, possibly, depending on flexibility of the spine. And go ahead and slowly reach back. I don't have a lot of room because I'm hitting the wall here, but you can straighten out that left arm or take it to cactus. But see if you can get that shoulder blade all the way on the floor. And if you're really struggling, this is where that block can come in handy to help support the knee as you come up and over. So you can decide what feels good. But invite that stretch, invite the coolness. You can also reach out and grab hold of that foot if that feels comfortable. So a couple of things that you can do today. Turn the head over that left shoulder, close the eyes. And then slowly come all the way back to the belly again. Get that block out of the way if you've got one. Inhale, lift halfway. Lengthen the back of the neck, stretch the left fingers forward. Roll onto that left side, the feminine divine, that space where Leela resides. Let her play here. Check in with your body. Check in with that emotional self of how you're doing during this quarantine. See if you have any ability to laugh and play in your practice today. Good. Now from here, take that left hand, palm up, reach the shoulder blade underneath you, and then slowly begin to lean back into the right shoulder. Your knee possibly came up and away from the floor. And lean back. Remember, you can cactus the arm if you want to. You could just stretch the arm long. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Feel the heat release from the body. Remember, if you've got the option to grab hold of that foot and extend it, lengthen it in front of you. Again, I've got a wall that's just a little too close. You can support yourself with that block under the knee, thigh, or ankle. And then instead of coming back from where we started, coming back to where we started, go ahead and take another deep, beautiful breath here. And begin to roll all the way onto your spine. Notice you're off your mat a little bit so you can crab walk yourself back over. Give yourself a nice Big stretch, open the heart up to the sky. Point the toes, reach the fingers, shrug the shoulders into the ears. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Give them a good squeeze. Now notice how the tailbone wants to come off the floor. See if you can pull it down and press it in. And as you exhale, curl nose to knee, squeeze those internal organs. 3 breaths. Round, round, round. See if you can tuck the chin and get that chin lock. Get that Mula Bandha lock too. Squeeze through that pelvic floor. And then slowly unfurl yourself. Feel free to bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide, or lengthen the legs. Turn the palms face up. Wiggle the fingers. Turn the head from side to side. Find the perfect resting space for your Shavasana, your practice today. I invite you to count a deep 10 count inhale. A deep 10 count exhale. If that feels like too much, you could start with 3 or 4 counts. Move your way up. You're going to stay in Shavasana for just a few more moments. Letting the back body be held by the earth beneath you. Feeling the simplicity of our practice today. Finding those playful spots of just working through variations of plank. That's all we really did. And building that strength within the body and the mind to move and be still.